Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to launch a new series which is programming in Java and C++. So, I will teach these two languages combinedly because they are very similar to each other. The difference in there is in the syntax. All right. So, I will teach both Java and C++ in same lectures. All right. So please, but before you move towards the programming, all right, please go through the previous videos and the previous playlists which I have made from the basics of computer applications. You have to access that playlist before moving towards this because the concepts which I have told there are going to be used here. So please, if you have not watched those videos, then please go and watch. I will provide you the link in the description. So please check out description. You will get many other links also. So you can join the Telegram also, and please join Classroom also. Okay. So please now we can start. Okay. So what is Java? What are Java and C++? Okay, so Java and C++ are nothing but just they are programming language. C is the version C++. Sorry, C++ is the successor of C. All right, and C is the successor of B language. From B there comes C, and from C there comes C++. Okay, so this is what C++. C and then Java. Java is also programming language. Okay, but it comes after C++ because there was some more need to be reflected from the programming languages. So the developers think that they need a different programming language and they develop Java. All right. Do you know who is the founder of C++ and Java? For C++, the founder was Barney Stroud. Strupp. All right. And for Java, were James Gosling. So they developed these languages. James Gosling. So till now, we have covered that who developed these languages. And now the history of these two languages I am leaving on you. Just please go to Google and search for their history. All right, and then read. So you will get better understanding. Just pause the video and just search the history for C++ and Java. Then come to this video. Now, before moving to the actual programming, we will be learning some concepts. Okay, because in programming language, we use many things to write a code. Just by starting from first program that is printf or that is cout, hello world, and that's all are such. These are some nonsense. All right. Before moving to actual programming, we should know what is going to be used in the programming. Okay. So my first series was on the basics of computer applications. You should access that. Okay. So you will get that what is the basics of programming, basics of computing. So if you will if you understand those topics, then you will easily understand the programming logics. Because when you know how to develop a logic, then it will benefit you more. Okay. So Now, why I choose to teach C++ and Java both together. Alright, C++ and Java together. I will be teaching C++ and Java together. But why? See, there are many reasons. Very first reason is that they both use the concept of object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming. Okay, so what is object-oriented programming? See, before learning about object-oriented programming, we must know that what is the process-oriented programming. All right. See, what is process? First, define this. What can be the process? See, process can be anything which is happening to produce a result. Okay, we give input. There is some process in this box and we get output. All right. So, if you can see, this is quite similar to functions, what we have studied in mathematics. Functions. What we do in functions, we give some inputs and then there is a function known as fx or whatever you say, and then it gives output. Okay, so here the functions are also similar, and in the programming the function process is known as function. Okay, so when we use only functions, when a programming use only function, then it is procedural oriented programming. Okay, and the example of procedure oriented programming is very famous example C. Then what if we come see when these procedures are open? Okay, when we write our code, then we define functions such as f1, f2, f3. All right, so these functions are open. Okay, we can go and directly have access to it. But when it comes towards the security, so when it comes towards security, we use the concept of object oriented programming, because in object oriented programming we use the concept of class and object. So what are class and object? I will be teaching to you, because before understanding the concept of object oriented programming, see, have you understood this, the procedure oriented programming, in which the function which is made up of functions only, and functions are open to use. Okay, so now when we have to make our code more secure, then we use the concept of object oriented programming. And in the object oriented programming, there is a concept called class and object. So if we want to learn the object oriented programming, we have to know certain terms. Okay, and these certain terms I am going to explain to you now. So please, before you go to actual coding, that going in an IDE and just writing down codes, you must be able to define these terms, and you should know these terms. Okay, so what is object oriented? You have to when you have to define object oriented programming, then you can define like what? Okay, you can define like it is an approach, okay, to program by partitioning the memory area, okay, into the data and functions. All right, and these data and functions are together bind up in a entity known as class. We can also say that object-oriented programming is modular approach. Why modular approach? Because we divide these functions or our program, all right, our program into modules. See, listen to me. What is the benefit of modular approach? Okay, when you write a C program, if you have written code in C programming language, then you have a straight away a set of code you are using. Okay, when you run your code once, all right, then it will give some output. When you run, uh, when you have to generate different result with different set of inputs, you have to run that program again, then again, all right. But when we use object oriented programming, this problem is removed. In object oriented, what is done? The same set of code is broken down into modules. See, this is a program. Now this is broken down into modules. Just like this is the original copy, that is your original colored copy. Then you go to a shopkeeper shop, all right. Sorry, photo state shop, or you go to a cyber cafe. You go to a cafe and you ask to do photocopy. Photocopy. So when you ask to do photocopy, it might be colored or might be black and white. Then you get so many copies. Then you can use these copies in different places. Just like you can, you have your documents, so you can submit your document to an office. You can similarly use those documents to purchase a SIM card. You can use those documents at hospital, and you can also use at other places. All right. So see, with one set of original documents, you have produced a large set of documents, and those set of documents you can use anywhere of your choice and as per your need. So this is what object oriented programming does. It just divides your program or just makes photocopy of our program, and every program will be functioning differently. All right, I think you have understood. So for this purpose, what is being used? What is that entity that is being used? Okay, so that entity is used is known as object. Okay, and what is this whole entity is known as? This is known as class. Okay, so now let us discuss the features of object oriented programming. All right, let us discuss some features. So first feature is what? It gives stress on data rather than function. Gives stress on data rather than functions. Because when you have to change data, you can use similar program for different set of data from different sources. But when you have the stress on function, then you have to change that functions time to time according to the data. So why we should change function? If data is changing, then we don't have to do anything. The function or the object oriented concepts are doing it for us automatically. Then second one is the program is made simpler. What is the program is made simpler? Okay, the program is made simpler because why? By use with the use of modularity. Modularity. We divide the programs into simple. For example, if I say that I have to calculate area, I have made program for calculating area. So areas can be of many figures, just like circle, rectangle, and also square. All right. So I divided my program known as area into smaller segments. In one segment, I used to calculate the area of circle. In the second segment, I used to calculate the area of rectangle. and in the third segment I used to calculate the area of square. So with the help of concept of modularity, we can divide our program into simple sub programs, and we can combine them to make a big program. Okay, and that is not we can do with the procedure oriented programming. All right. Now third point is what? So objects can be used as bridge. Object can be used as bridge. Objects can be used as bridge for the data flow. For data flow. See, we have same program. All right, we have one program. We have made the photocopies, and these photocopies are what? These photocopies are object. But see, actual program is this only now. So how we if there is no matter how many modules or how many photocopies we generate, but the original program will remain original. So the data which will be input in this module will go to this also go to this also go to this, and this also go to this. Okay, so objects can be used as a bridge, okay, to have data flow from function to another one function. Okay, we can also transfer this data to this data from this function to this function to this function also, and from the modules to main program. Okay, now fourth point is what? We can easily modify the data. All right, easily data modification is possible. See, when in the procedure oriented programming, okay, in the POP, we have to change the entire function when data is changed. But in OOP, object oriented programming, only data is changed. Only data changes. Function in the function changes in POP, but not in OOP. All right, I think you have understood this concept. Now, moving further, we have some elements of object oriented programming. See, these are the things which we will be using in our programming. So please watch these please watch these videos or these concepts thoroughly. Okay, because these concepts are going to be used in our programming. So what are the basic elements of hoops? Now, elements of hoops. What are these elements of hoops? So our very first element is objects. Object. Okay. So how you can define object? So object can be defined as unique entity. What is unique entity? See, everything which you are seeing around you, just like if you are wearing a watch, if you are having a cup, anything you are having is known as object. All right, you can relate it with the real world examples. So the thing which is visible, all right, and which has some functions and which has some data. We talk in the computer language, the entities which have data and function. See, when you wear a watch, it has some data. What is that data? Uh, those data are the needles, or you can say that the pointing devices which is showing the time, and what it has some function. What is the function? It shows us time. Shows us time. Okay, so this is what object. So you can relate object with the real world. And example, suppose I give you example of fan. All right, this is also object. Okay, this uses data. What is that data? It uses electricity. And what is its function? To blow air towards us. Okay, to give air or to increase the rate of flow of air. So what is this? This is object and it is functions. Okay. Now the next one is class. What is class? Or we can say that classes. Classes. All right. What is class? Class is is the another most important concept of object oriented programming. So what is class? Class is a container. Class is a container which is so class is a container which is used to create blueprint. See, when I gave you the example of this, what shop, photocopy shop. So this is what this is class, and it is used to what it is used to create the different blueprints, or you can say that different copies. So what is class? Class is an entity which is used to generate the modules. Okay, they used to generate the modules. So class is nothing; it's just a container which is used to generate the modules. Now, in Java, all right, I will tell you later because I am explaining you the topics C++ and Java in the same lecture. So I will be teaching you later. Okay. So what is class? Class is object factory. First thing you have to remember is object factory. Second thing you have to remember it is user defined data type. Why user defined data type? I will tell you in the data type segment that what are the types of types of data types. All right. Then what comes next? Then next comes elements of object-oriented programming is encapsulation. See, if you want to read more about the concepts of class and object, just tell me in the comment box. I will make a separate video. But for now, just you have to revise these concepts. So, taking into consideration that you have to revise only. I am just moving forward. All right. Now, please listen. All right. Now, see another thing is encapsulation. So, what is encapsulation? It is wrapping up of data and functions together in a container. And what is container known as? It is known as class. All right. So what it mainly provides? This concept mainly provides security. All right, security. I told you earlier that why object-oriented programming is taken into consideration because because due to the reason of security. So when you have to provide security, you have to encapsulate its content. Okay. Now, what is next topic comes in data abstraction. I think you are familiar with all these terms, but just revise data abstraction. Abstraction. So what is data abstraction? See, when you are providing security, so just if I take example of car, all right. When you take an example of car, then see a driver, he or she, he or she only drives the car. Okay, they moves the car right or left. They apply brake, but and the car moves also. Car moves also, but they don't know how this mechanism is performing inside the car. They don't know. They really don't know how this is performing inside the car, how that rim is moving, how that rim is moving, or how that hydraulics are applied. Hydraulics are applied. What is the mechanism behind all these things? Okay, they don't know. So it provides security to the car because the driver knows. The driver knows. See, you have seen mechanics. They know uh, how to build a car or how the car is built. So they modify the cars. They changes the cars. So do you think is that a threat to a security of car when a company make a car and then the company sell it to the market, sell in the market, then it may cause threat to the car. Or if you know that where are these parts, how they are working, then if you try to change and there you make some mistake, so it can cause some blunder also. Just like it may cause accidents because just with the poor alignment of wheels. So it is very necessary to abstract the things. Abstraction means just to hide the process and show only necessary details. Like in the example of car, only the driver can see that how car is moving, and if he is moving towards left, then car move towards left. When he is moving towards right, then car move towards right. And but he or she don't know that how it is moving, just how these wheels are turning, or just how wheels are turning. They don't know, and how the brakes are applied. All right, they don't know all these things. Next, what comes inheritance? Okay, see, to understand inheritance, we again have to go towards our topic that when we have made the photocopy. Alright, so when we make photocopy, suppose let me give you example, different example, just like you have colored copy. This is colored. Alright, and you have made these copies as black and white. When you make them black and white, then what is the changement? The only change is the color, and the every other property, just like every other details like name in the document, name, address, and all these things remain same. So what is this? This is inherited from the parent one. Okay, these properties are inherited from the parent one, just like you have been inherited from your parent. So we can make a different copies. So inheritance can be used to make different copies. All right, and then comes what? Then comes this. How many? Number six. Then number six. All right. So it comes polymorphism. See, what is polymorphism? Again, we will use the same example for polymorphism. See, when we create, when we create too many items. So when we create too many items from the one thing, then it is known as polymorphism. See, poly means many, morphism means forms. So polymorphism means many forms. Okay, when we have many forms about of a thing, then it is known as polymorphism. All right, I think you have understood this. Now, if I give you example, when I said that using the object-oriented programming, we can use the same function too many times. All right, we just like here in the photocopy example, we can use this document many times. Whether it is photocopy, but we can use, we can, if we have these copies over, then we can have this original one. We can go to the shop again and we do photocopies again, and we can use them again also. So polymorphism means using same function again and or many times. All right. Then what comes? It is the known as uh, dynamic binding. Okay. What is dynamic binding? Dynamic. See, check the spelling on the internet. Listen to the words. Dynamic binding. What is dynamic binding? Dynamic binding means process to link. Process to link. Function call with function signature at runtime. See, function signature is what? Function signature is the name of function and parameters. This is known as function signature. All right. And what is when we use runtime? Always remember. See, dynamic means runtime. Okay. When we use dynamic, use term dynamic, it is always means that it is we are talking at the time of runtime. So, what is this the concept? See, suppose like you have been given a data and function here. All right. So now here what this thing we call this function. This is what caller program, and this is what call. All right. Then what it does? It makes address of the function. It makes address at real time, and then it binds together to the bind this function to this address and return to it where it being called. And after performing the functions, we just simply unbind these functions. All right. Now, what are the benefits of OOPS? Okay, so this is your assignment that you have to write benefits of OOPS. Thank you. This is all for today. But before that, please check description. Please check description, and also please access playlist, that is basics of computer application. It will, please believe me, it will help you a lot in the further sections when you write the code. It will help. It will definitely help. You are going to thank me later. Okay. So please watch those concepts also. And please share with your friends. Just do subscribe and share. Please like the video. Okay. And please don't forget to subscribe and to share also. Thank you, class. This is all for this lecture. Thank you very much.